right, welcome everybody to the November 16th, 2015 Raymond Conservation Commission meeting. Real quick meeting tonight. We jumped ahead a week to not tangle up with Thanksgiving week for folks, and we'll just have a really brief update on our main project, the Raymond Community Forest Project. Tonight we had the benefit earlier of meeting with Representative Mike McClellan, who updated us on the process for legislative bills that will be hopefully heard this coming session starting in January, relating to the Land for Maine Futures Grant money, of which we have been awarded $150,000 from that grant, the LMF grant, a couple of years ago now, but it hasn't been paid out, and that's been hung up in Augusta. The governor's waiting for the right conditions to let that money out, but Representative McClellan was able to give us some insight on the process for how the two bills of focus, which are LR 2132 and LD 1454, will help the legislature release the funds for the Land for Maine Futures projects that have been awarded but not paid out. And our piece in Raymond here is, relatively modest at $150,000. I believe there's another 11 or so projects totaling $6.5 million or so. So we're hopeful that folks that can reach out to their legislators and support those two bills when they get a chance, and they're going to be heard potentially the first thing in January. Again, it's LR 2132 and LD 1454. So aside from the grant funds, we have an update on our other fundraising efforts and contributions from the town of Raymond and from other conservation foundations in Maine. And as of today, we have just over $47,000 to go to get to the finish line for the Raymond Community Forest project budget. And that assumes we get the $150,000 for the Land for Maine Future. And we have a bulk letter that just went out this week to 2,400 addresses, I think, in the town of Raymond. Some folks have certainly already heard from us. Earlier in the year, we started out with letters going to neighbors and abutters to the project, and then gradually worked our fundraising outreach to further parts of the town. So you should be seeing that in your mailbox in the coming week, and hope that you might be able to help us out in taking the project to completion. Let's see, what other thing we have to report on, of course, but will be a little challenge to do, is because our man Bill Frazier is now running the videography station here at the broadcast studio, and Bill was able to step into that position because our Dom moved on, but Bill will help. Perhaps next meeting can give us a report on the success with getting a kiosk installed at Morgan Meadow, which has been a project of several years in planning and negotiation with the state of Maine. but it's installed, and perhaps you'll have some pictures at some point, Bill, that could be shared on the live on the video feed here. So anything else, Russ, that comes to mind?
And not specifically, just to touch back on the Raymond Community Forest project again, and that's been our biggest focus over the past year, is working on the community forest project, and the fact that we're within $50,000 of our goal is pretty exciting. So it's important that for this last push that everybody get on board and support us if they can with some financial support where and when they can. So we're closing in on the goal, so that's exciting.
Excellent. Well, we will have a report for the town by the middle of December to get a glimpse of how much of a gap is left, and so I would refer folks to the Luneco Land Trust website for more current information on our deadlines and where our fundraising goals are at. For those that are interested, we will be trying to do a hike out. There are no formal trails at this stage. There are some pretty well established former skid roads from logging operations, so we will be taking a couple hours just to walk through some of the lower elevation land and specking out some locations for trails in the event we're able to make the project come to fruition, which is what we're planning on. So that's it for the Raymond Conservation Commission.
Where are you meeting?
We are meeting on Coneska Road at the turnout that is, it's about a third of a mile north of where Rosewood Road comes out.
It's in those former logging yards, just below the face of Pismire, the rock face.
Yeah.
So it's the turnout on the mountainside, not the lakeside.
Either one.
Either
and
one.
They're within
Okay.
eyesight of each other.
So welcome anyone who wants to join us. I'd recommend boots and be ready for a good little bit of bushwhacking, but it shouldn't be too heavy. That's it. We'll have another meeting in December and update folks at that time.
Sounds good.
Great.